What's up, guys? Classic Metal here. It is Sunday morning, which means that it is time to continue on through the CD collection. We are on video number 69. Nice. What else is nice is that we are going to wrap up the G section. I have 3 albums that I will show with artists that start with G, and then we will jump into the H section. So we are slowly marching through this collection. One of these days, in the not so near future, we will have this collection shown in its entirety. But there's some weird stuff in this one. At this point, I think you guys are aware of the fact that sometimes I do tend to listen to some kind of weird things, and there are some weird ones in this one. But just going to jump right into this. First up, we have some brutal death metal. This is an awesome album. This is Guttural Corpora Cavernosa with You Should Have Died When I Killed You. This was released through Gorehouse Productions. It's been out for a while now. I'm not seeing a date on the back. I'm going to say it came out around 2016-ish. But this is some killer stuff. I do like this one quite a bit. I don't think they released anything after this, unfortunately. But I think there was either an EP or a full-length that came out prior to this full-length. But as far as any material afterwards, I don't think this band has put anything else out. But I do like this one quite a bit. Next up, this is actually the only album that I own from Gwar. This is Lust in Space. I've seen Gwar. I haven't seen Gwar live since Odorous passed away, but I had seen this band numerous times prior. I used to have quite a bit of other Gwar material in the collection, but I sold it. Honestly, the stage show of this band is kind of their shtick. It's kind of their gimmick on CD, on audio, like that. Like even when they come out, when you see them live and they come out and play after and do the encore without the whole stage show and gimmick. I mean, it's not the same. For me, it's just a band that I like to see live. I had some nostalgia wrapped up in this particular album. That's why I went ahead and hung on to this one. But the others I really just never really listened to, and I ended up parting with those. Next up, this was a blind buy. I think I purchased this last year on a blind buy. This is some folk metal, kind of mellow death / folk metal. Apparently, this band has been churning out music for quite some time, but this is their latest full length. This is a Gwydion, I believe is how you pronounce that, with their self-titled. It's pretty good. It's not something that's going to make me dig deeper and go hunt down those previous albums that they had out, but I liked it for what it was. I was doing a large purchase online, and it was one of those bundle deals where you had to add so many to get the discount and the price, and the artwork on this one kind of intrigued me. I kind of knew what I was getting into when I saw this, just based on the looks of it. So it kind of sounded exactly like I expected it to. I do like it, but it's just not a band that I think that I'm just going to seek out and want to add tons of stuff of theirs to my collection. Okay, that wraps up the G's. Let's jump into the H's. Actually, the very first one I'm going to show, I'm not even positive that this belongs in the H section. It's a Russian band, a Russian black metal, go figure, me listening to Russian black metal. It's all in Russian, and I have a section on my CD shelf that I will probably show after we get through everything else that's all bands that are in other languages, or I don't know where to file them because, like Russian, the alphabet looks completely different. This one, the alphabet looked the same. It's a capital H-A-B and then a lowercase b. I don't think my camera will pick it up. It focused for like a brief second on that, but yeah, and I definitely don't know the album title. But this is some good black metal. Came out, I think, in 2006 on Miraquidi Productions, and I really like this. I haven't picked up anything else from this project. Kind of hard being an only English-speaking American and trying to hunt down some of this stuff that's in other languages, especially when they use an entirely different alphabet. But I do like this. I have this filed onto my Discog, so I could find some of their other material through that database. But good stuff there. Next up, we have some brutal death metal. I believe this band is out of California. No, they're out of Australia. I don't know. I don't know where they're from. This is Habitual Defilement, the redemption of past supremacy. The label Infinite Regress Records is out of Australia. That's one of the partner labels that put this out. I thought the band was out of California, but I have no idea. I'm just not even going to. It doesn't really matter. Pretty good brutal death metal, slamming brutal death metal. I think this is the only full length that they put out. I believe the band is split up at this point, but this one was pretty good. Next up, we have some groove metal, kind of that thrashy death metal / groove metal type stuff. This is a band called Hackride with Amoeba. This is the only release that I own from this band, but I do like this quite a bit. I've heard some of the other stuff in their discography, but for me, this is kind of the album to own of theirs. I know some people are kind of hit or miss on actual groove metal, but I do like this one. This was released on Listenable Records in 2007, so we've got some stuff in this one that's been out for a while. Next up, this one's kind of weird. This is Hadean with On Fading. This was released through Transcending Records. You got my little vest, my work vest, that I have hanging on the wall there in the reflection. This is kind of progressive, post-metal. It's different. It's a good listen, but it's one of those kind of it's a fantastic background. Like if you need something playing in the background kind of music, it's something that can be a little overwhelming if you're just trying to focus so intently on it and take everything in. But it is a decent listen. I do like this one. Next up, we have Had It with Introspective Contemplation of the Microcosmos. I believe this band is out of Italy. It's some pretty killer black and death metal. They had this one came out, another one that I don't see a date on. This is another one I'm going to guess probably around the 2016 time frame, 2016, 2017 time frame. And it's really solid. I do enjoy this one. It's just an EP. This is, I believe, the second. I think they had a demo that came out prior to this, and then this EP, and then a full length that came out last year. And I have not picked that full length up. I do want to get my hands on that at some point, but this EP is where it's at. As far as the band's material, this is my favorite release from Had It. But that I do, at some point, I plan on getting my hands on that full length from last year. Next up, we have an international band. This is Hamik, I believe is how you pronounce that, with Fields of Sanguine. This was one of my very first Bandcamp purchases that I ever did. This was a self-released album. It's kind of symphonic black metal. Has some death metal elements going on. Pretty solid release. It is an international band, so it has some members in this band that have never actually met in real life. They just do everything and on their own and then piece it together. Sometimes that can kind of come into play on the album. There are a few places where it feels a little disjointed, but all in all, this is a pretty solid release. So I like that artwork on that as well. Next up, we have some more brutal death metal. This is a band out of California. This is Hemophagia with From Sickness to Cult. This band is also split up. I believe this is the only full length that they put out as well. Solid brutal death metal. This one has been out for quite some time. I don't see a date on it, but I know it's been out for well over 10 years, probably longer than that, probably pushing the 15 year point. I'm going to guess probably around 2007, but either way, some pretty solid brutal death metal there. This video may be a little shorter than some of my other CD collection videos because there was a spacer between the G's and the H's on the shelf. So just in case you're wondering why this one, if the timestamp on this one is a little bit shorter. Next up, we have some black metal out of Canada. I saw this one kind of making the rounds. Well, not this particular release, but this band kind of making the rounds. I'm wanting to say probably several months ago, maybe end of last year. I saw a lot of people kind of following this band. I don't know what was on the bill of my hat there, But this is Hacked Dam with Black Tortured Metal. This is the band's self-released demo that came out in 2008. It's the only release that I own from this band. This isn't the release that I saw a lot of people kind of sharing around. I believe there was a full length that came out fairly recently that was kind of making the rounds. This is the only material that I own from this band, but I've had this in the collection for quite some time. I had to change the case out because it was cracked and stuff before I started this video. But solid. I mean, this is some pretty nasty, cold, frostbitten black metal out of Canada. Canada is a hotbed for black metal. I guess just as cold and stuff as it is up there, that it's just a breeding ground for black metal. Some more weird stuff. This is Hollow Butchery with Funeral Rites for the Living. It's going to be impossible for me to describe this band for you guys. There's elements of doom metal, straight up folk music. There's blackened stuff going on, even little hints of grindcore going on in times in this. This is a band out of the rural areas of Maine, and it sounds like a band that was in the middle of nowhere that had too much time on their hands with all these ideas going on, and I almost made that sound as a bad thing, and it's definitely not, because I really like this. It's weird, it's different. That artwork is kind of fitting for it, just in the simple fact that it's just some strange stuff going on in this, but it is highly enjoyable at the same time. So definitely check that one out if you're into something, looking for something a little different. Speaking of, I mean, let's just keep that idea going. This is Halo with Guattari. From the West Flows Gray Ash and Pestilence. This is a sludgy, progressive, avant-garde type project out of Australia. This is the only album that this band has put out that I find worth listening to. They have some stuff out that's not so great, but I love this album. When I was in high school, I don't want to talk about how long ago this was, but the album came out in 1999, if that gives you a hint there. But I had a friend in high school that was very much into this band and this particular album, and that's how I came across it and came to listening to it. And I really like this album. This is solid, and this is leaps and bounds ahead of anything else that this project ever put out. But this one is almost essential owning for me. This is one that I would highly recommend that anybody pick up. But as far as the rest of the band's discography, I wouldn't even waste my time checking that out. Next up, we have another solid release. This is a goth metal band out of Illinois. I want to say kind of goth rock, goth metal project entitled Halo of Flies. The name of this album is Bloodier Shade of Red. I have given away, not recently, but probably 4 or 5 years ago, I kept getting copies of this. Every time I would buy a grab bag, every time I would buy something, I kept getting copies of this. And you can find this for like $1 or $2 anywhere, and it's super solid. I highly recommend you check this out. If you want to listen to it and look it up, Flies is spelled Flys. This is Halo of Flies. And if you look up Halo of Flies spelled the way that you're supposed to spell flies in a plural sense, you're going to get this shitty noise rock band out of, I think, Minneapolis or something. You don't want to listen to that one. This was much better than what you're going to get if you spell it correctly. So just a little heads up on that. This is like a 5-star out of 5-star album for me. And it's a shame that it doesn't really get the love that it should, that the CDs are pretty much just given away. But I mean, that's great for you guys. They have another full length that came out after this. I believe the band's probably split up at this point because they've been out for quite some time, that I still need to pick up. And there's really no excuse for me not having that one because it's in the same boat where you can get the albums for $1 or $2. So at some point in the near future, I'll probably pick that up. Next up, a band that I listened to way back in high school and I hated, and I thought they just sounded so cheesy, so effeminate back then that it just wasn't anything that I could get into. And I've decided that I would give them a second shot. Apparently this was not the album to give them a second shot for. This is Hammerfall with No Sacrifice, No Victory. Not a fan of this. Not really. I will probably end up getting rid of this at some point. I just have to just accept the fact that I'm not a fan of this band. The first album that I heard way back was something Glory or Grave or something to the Grave, or I don't remember, but I hated it. I hated that album. And then I listened to this, and I've come around to a lot of things that I used to not particularly like way back when. I've definitely expanded my taste, but this is just a band that I'm not able to get into. Next up, this is some horror, pain, gore, death stuff. This is Hammer Fight. This is their self-titled EP demo. Kind of thrashy. It's got that kind of hard rock, thrashy feel going on. Thrash metal fused with hard rock. Very accessible sound going on this. This is something that you could throw on and play for if you had some friends or family that weren't into the super heavy, extreme type stuff. This is something that they would probably enjoy. It can get a little trite listening to it over and over and over. It can overstay its welcome a little bit just because of the simplicity factor. I also got in one of those grab bags their album entitled Chug of War. I do find it enjoyable. It's just not much under the surface, if that makes any sense. It's just one of those super accessible sounding bands. They are good at what they do, but it's just not a whole lot of substance beneath the surface on that. Next up, we have some more kind of weird stuff. This is progressive kind of folk. It's progressive metal fused with folk. This is Hammers of Misfortune with their Fields and Church of Broken Glass double album. This was released through Metal Blade Records 2010. So this one has been out for quite some time. This one's kind of dead center in the band's discography. It's in this little O card. But it's pretty good. It's not a band that I would listen to all the time, but I did get this in like a bulk lot of material, and I decided to hang on to it because I did enjoy everything that I listened to on this. It's just not something that I'm going to reach. It's not really in my wheelhouse of things that I would reach for on a consistent basis, but it is worth having for when I'm in the mood for something like this. Next up, we have some black metal out of Finland. I'm going to butcher this one because it's in Finnish. Hamis, Hamys, with Tai Natai Pakani. Yeah, this is an EP. This came out probably, I don't see a date on it. I keep on going back to that time period. It says it was recorded between 2011 and 2012. I think it came out a little bit after that on a physical format. Pretty good kind of melodic black metal. You can pick up those Finland vibes going on in this pretty handily. It kind of plays into some of that more melodic style of black metal that you get from that area. But it's pretty good. They have a full length out as well, but I do not have that one. This is the only thing that I picked up. I usually tend to enjoy stuff that I find from Raised Soul Productions. They put out a nice little assortment of different styles of black metal. Next up, this is some obscure traditional heavy metal, hard rock. Came out the original came out in 1979. This was reissued through Shadow Kingdom Records. I don't know. In 2008 is when the Shadow Kingdom, they kind of do that. They have an act for finding these old hidden gems because this was the only release that this band put out. This is the Hand of Doom with Poison Noise. I got this through Hell's Headbangers and one of their 10 CD or something, one of their sales that they have all the time. I got this through that as a blind purchase. I got to listening to it, and I really like this. This is some stellar stuff. This is a German traditional heavy metal, hard rock. It sounds from the time period that it came out from. I mean, you have the there's the inverted look of the cover there. You have like some Deep Purple feels going on this, as well as some other. There's even like some doomy moments going on in this as well, like almost some Sabbath sounding stuff. So I really do like this. Man, I sounded the accent was thick on that one. I even heard it. Next up, we have some more folk metal, kind of mellow death / folk metal. This is Hand of Kaliak with Samhain. Killer stuff here out of, I believe this band is out of Scotland. This was self-released from the band. It's been out for some time as well. I say sometime, 2021. I guess my time frame, my time stamp is completely off in the head, but I thought this had been out for sometime longer than that. To be fair, the last couple of years have been a stretch. So, but some good stuff here. Self-released from the band, as I was saying, just kind of mellow death / folk metal, but good stuff there. The last three that I'm going to show are all from the same band. I guess I am going to drag this one out to past the 20-minute time mark. So, this is a band called Hands. They are kind of post-metal fused with hardcore. They are Christian themed, so they were some of their stuff was released on Face Down Records. That's actually how I came across this band. This is Hands with the Sounds of Earth. This one is cracked. I am running out of jewel cases, so at some point I have to buy another package of replacement jewel cases because I am running very low, unless a case is just completely obliterated. I really don't have any means of changing them out. And then next up we have Give Me Rest from Hands. This was probably my favorite release from them. I haven't listened to them in quite some time, admittedly. It's got the sticky residue on this, and apparently my dog has been around these because there's dog hair kind of stuck onto the sticky residue, so that's pretty disgusting. I wish I had some more replacement cases to change these out. I guess I will be ordering me a new stack of those ASAP. And then the last one is also from Hands. This one is Creator. I wasn't a huge fan of this release. This one is also cracked. So apparently these jewel cases from the band Hands just haven't been taken care of just too great. A lot of stuff got damaged when I did the move. I think that's why I'm so low on jewel cases at this point. But this is probably my least favorite of the three that I showed from this band. The Give Me Rest album was really really strong in my opinion. But that's all for today. Next week we will continue in and keep on diving through the H's. We will be in the H section for a little while, so just be prepared for that. That's all I've got for today. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you very soon. I promise.